Hello everyone, this is Miss Kelly, and today we're going to be doing a walkthrough of the end of year English Language Arts PARCC test, the PARCC practice test for 7th grade. Alright, so first let's access the test. So you can go to the PARCC Pearson site. I have it bookmarked, but if you're at home and you're not sure what the site is, if you just type in PARCC practice test, you're going to get the website that we're using right at the top. So we get to a page that looks like this, and you have a choice of English or math, and today we're going to be doing English, so we've already done math together. And I'm going to stick with 7th grade since the other 3 walkthroughs I've done have been 7th grade. We'll just finish it on up here. So we're looking again at the ELA, the English Language Arts test for 7th grade. We have some choices. We've already done the PBA, so we're going to do the EOY, or the end of year. We're going to take the computer-based tests today. All right, and this is the practice test, so this is the screen you would come to. All right, and it gives you some information here. So this is a simulation of the first unit. It says it has 22 questions. Let's go ahead and start. Let's talk about some of the features. I'm not going to worry so much about the correct answers as we go through this. I'm just going to show you on this walkthrough the features of the program. All right, so this is the first question. Let's look up here at our reading passage. Notice that there is a scroll bar here, so it's longer than what fits inside the box. And this can be surprisingly challenging for some students to be able to use the scroll bar. All right, and then let's look at the questions. So we have a part A and a part B. There are tons of these questions on all the English language arts types of tests, no matter what the grade levels are, so whether it's 3rd grade or the high school stuff. So we've got a question that's asked for an answer, and then we've got a part B question that asked what was the support for the answer. And I want to point out here that notice this says which 2 paragraphs. So this isn't the kind of question that just has one right answer. So students have to pay attention to these bolded words. All right. So let me just pick some answers here. Again, I'm not worried about what the correct answers are. All right. And then when the student's ready to move on to the next question, we click the next button. We have the same story again, and again, the student can read it, they can scroll, they could go back to the first question if they want to. Let's go to the second question. We have another part A and a part B. So the part A is asking for an answer, and the part B is asking for additional details. So you'll see this format again and again. Let's look at the toolbar up here. So right now we're using the pointer. So we use the pointer to select our answer. Okay. I think it's interesting now, these just want one correct answer, so I can only click one correct answer. Like, it won't let me pick B and C, which is interesting. All right, we have a notepad here that the student can use and move around, so if they want to take notes, maybe help them with their answers. We have the answer eliminator, which lets us eliminate some choices. One thing that I think I've mentioned in the other walkthroughs is if you're using the answer eliminator, now let's say I decide my answer is D. I can't just go click D because it's going to try to use my answer eliminator. So I have to go back up here to the top, select the pointer again, and now I'm switching my answer to D. Okay. Over here we also have a couple other features. Now this first one is just in the practice test, because once your student takes the actual test, they will already have this set up. So it's going to default to the black on white, but you can also switch your screen. This could be a good way to, if your student does, if you think your student would benefit from one of these, you can play in the practice test to see which one would be the best. We do have some students with low visibility that I've worked with in the past, and they would probably benefit from black on cream. I'm going to leave it black on white. Then we have a magnifier, which I don't necessarily like, but might be useful to some students. We have to turn it, if we turn it on, we've got to turn it off. All right. We also have a line reader, which lets you just look at one part of the text at a time. So maybe your student But again, they would have to manipulate this themselves. So maybe they get easily distracted, so they could just show the question if they want to. And see all this clicking that I'm doing? I mean, the feature for me isn't super user friendly. Okay. And again, this is another thing that if we turn it on and we're done with it, we got to go up and turn it off. Answer masking is another feature that can be enabled. It can be identified by any adult as something that would benefit the student, just like the background and foreground color, but it has to be identified in advance. So if we enable it here, what it's going to do is it's going to show the students the questions, and then in order to see the answers, they have to unmask the answers. Let's see. And a benefit of this one is, I mean, you don't have to necessarily turn it on or off. So as a student, I could click them all and select the answers. But see, if I want to pick one that's already been eliminated by the answer eliminator, I've got to go back up here, click off of it, go back to my pointer, and then be able to select it. Okay, so all of this stuff was here. So the change to foreground and background, enable the magnifier, show the line reader, and I'm going to disable the answer masking here. Okay. Alright, other features up here, anytime you can flag a question. So let's say I'm not really sure about this one, so I'm going to flag it to come back for it later. I'm going to keep moving, and you're going to see yet another set of questions that deals with the same folktale. Let's keep going here. Alright, here's an interesting one. So instead of just being a multiple choice, we have drag and drop boxes. So it's asking us to identify evidence. So again, we're answering a question, just like we have been on some of the other screens, and then we're going more into depth by identifying evidence. This one, I'm just going to show you the feature. So you would grab your evidence to answer the question and drop it into the appropriate box. You can change your answer. No, the drag and drop. All right. And then another type of question. Let's see, we're switching back to something else. So this was a fictional folktale, and now we're going into an article about collecting rocks. But it's still the same kind of format. So we're answering a question, we're supporting our answer. All right. Let's keep clicking. So you can see this isn't just literature or fiction here. There's articles and other types of reading. Now here is an example of there are two articles here. So as a student, if I were taking the test, I would have to navigate between the two different articles. So this is the article Collecting Rocks. I want to switch over to the other one. Oops. Okay. We answer our questions. We've got to choose 2 right answers. But even though it says to choose 2 right answers, notice here it let me pick 3 answers. So the student has to follow the directions. Let's keep clicking. All right, here's an article with a picture. Let's see, 5 things about NASA's Mars Curiosity rover. That's interesting. And again, we are answering a question. We're giving support for our answer. Let me keep clicking. Running out of time on my video. Here's another drag and drop. In this one, it says select 4 key details that taken together form a summary of the article. Drop them in the correct order in boxes. So it wants us to put these 4 things in order, but there's more than 4 things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means the student not only has to put these ideas in order, but they also are basically eliminating 2 of them. So they're deciding which 4 work. Okay. And this one's a little bit different because it's asking us to drag 2 pieces of evidence, but before there were little boxes here of things to grab. This time it wants us to grab it out of the actual article. So if I want to grab this information about the Mini Cooper and drag it down here. So we're actually referencing the article, again using the scroll bar. I'm just going to pick a couple. Let's keep going here. All right. And this time we have an interview, so more nonfiction reading. Okay, interesting question. When it says today you'll read 3 different accounts of the same event. You'll read a news article, then an interview, and finally watch a video about the efforts of a group of people to help a group of distressed whales. So we're using these different types of medium here. Okay, it looks like we have the interview. And then we have some information to sort into contributions and effects. Notice it'll let you move it. Okay, I'm going to keep clicking. Keep clicking. See how many of these questions, they just keep following the same format. So answer the question, give your support. Keep clicking, keep clicking. Oh, the sample one didn't show me the video, but there are videos and audio clips on the test. So let's go back. It's telling me I didn't answer 19 of the questions. So that's good because it gives me the information right there. It'll let me do one of two things. So I can either review my answers or submit my final answers. The best practice would be for the students to review their answers. And then here you can see the ones that I flagged, the ones that I didn't answer. So I can go back and I can click view. And I can answer the question. It really puts me back at that point. So it's going to, if I were back on question 8, then, and click through, the next question would be 9, then 10, then 11. So it really puts you back to that point. But at any point, the student can click review, and they can decide to end their section. Okay, so I'm going to click submit my final answers. And then for the practice test, it's going to do some scoring for us, which is really cool. I mean, obviously it wouldn't do this in the regular test. Okay. All right, well, thanks for doing this walkthrough with me of the English Language Arts end of year 7th grade practice part test. All right, thank you, everyone. Bye.